there is a celebrity chef named Gordon Ramsay. But today I would like to tell you a secret. Here is some tips I would like to give you to perfect the beef Wellington, which me and my husband had the honor to dine at his fine restaurants at the London where they serve beef Wellington.
Tell me the deck is stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long. But I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now.
This is Lisa. So today I would like to tell you a secret. Today I'd like to tell you the secret towards perfecting the art of the beef Wellingtons. There is a celebrity chef named Gordon Ramsay, and he has two very famous shows. You probably heard of it. One is called MasterChef, and MasterChef actually is an adaptation of the show from the BBC, also called MasterChef. And then there's another show that he's famous for is called Hell's Kitchen, and it actually is inspired by his restaurant that was located in Las Vegas. And the whole show is a rundown of how he usually runs things as a celebrity chef.
A kitchen should run like a well-oiled machine.
It's burnt! Start again!
Maybe somebody should tell that to
Stop!
the chefs in Hell's Kitchen.
Sorry, I'm sorry, Chef. I'm sorry, Chef. I'm sorry, Chef. It's my fault, Chef. I'm very sorry, Chef.
Monday, July 18th, your favorite cooking competition returns.
Hurry up! Overcooked! This is embarrassing!
With everything you love.
What are we gonna do now? Any suggestions?
Shut it down!
Good idea.
Shut it down!
Hell's Kitchen, two-night premiere begins Monday, July 18th on Fox.
Here is some tips I would like to give you to perfect the beef Wellington, which me and my husband had the honor to dine at his fine restaurants at the London where they serve beef Wellington, and also another restaurant which is located at Queen Mary called the Western, also serve beef Wellington and raspberry souffle. So
beef Wellington has to be the ultimate indulgence, one of my all-time favourite main courses, and it would definitely be on my last supper menu. My version is a lot lighter and sexier, and for Christmas I'm going to give it an added twist. First off, the fillet of beef. Now, look at it, it's beautiful. First, the most important part is to sear it. Salt, pepper.
The fillet is the leanest and the most expensive cut of beef. It comes from underneath the lower backbone, a part of the animal which has very little muscle, and this is what makes it such a tender cut.
Very, very hot pan. Olive oil, and literally roll it around the pan. We're not cooking the beef, we're just searing it, which will really help to give another layer of flavour and beef in. Lovely. Now use the side of the pan so the beef sears down the back when you tilt it. It's a secret to get it done quickly. It gives that really nice roasted flavour. Delicious. Once you've got the colour, very carefully lift up the beef and sear it on top and sear it on the bottom. Out and onto the plate. English mustard. What this does now, it gives it a bit of heat. Just lightly brush the mustard over the beef. So really important that you do this as the beef comes straight out of the pan. As the beef starts to cool down, it absorbs all that heat from the mustard. Horseradish is a really nice alternative as well. Just leave that to sit and relax.
Tip number one, you actually have to wrap the pastry in Parma ham, and it is a very common ingredient you can find in American supermarkets. That's one tip. And also tip number two is when you slice the meat, make sure you slice them 1 inch apart instead of making it too thin. You want to make the meat evenly cut, so that's how you perfect the beef Wellington. And this kind of secret you can only find in Gordon Ramsay's special cookbook. Okay, so to share a little bit about Gordon Ramsay, he actually was awarded 16 Michelin stars. Some of his fine restaurants including the Gordon Ramsay burger, the Gordon Ramsay steak, the Gordon Ramsay grill and bar, and also what I just mentioned, the London. So be sure to check that out when you're in the area. And some of the ingredients you might need for the beef Wellington, obviously you need foie gras, which is duck liver. You need sirloin, about 400 grams, and double of that in portion. For mushrooms and creams, vegetable ingredient, you need 500 grams of that, and then you also need 8 slices of Parma ham, including some other ingredients you would also like to add to your dishes, the truffles and the cognut. So there's a lot of things that are seasonal, so you can add it into the season. So you also need olive oil to cook your meat, obviously. And then the beef Wellington, the sirloin itself is cooked towards medium rare. So first you want to cook your meat first. After you have cooked it and make it sizzle for a while, you get the meat aside, you make the sauce.
As the fillet rests, prepare the filling, which is called a duxelle. Put 700 grams of chestnut mushrooms into a blender, add a chopped clove of garlic, season with salt and pepper, and blitz.
Christmas wouldn't be Christmas without chestnuts. And just crumble them in to the mushrooms.
The chestnut's sweet, nutty flavour works brilliantly with the earthy taste of the mushrooms. And because they contain more starch and less oil than other nuts, they have a much softer texture that is perfect for the filling.
That smells amazing. It smells like Christmas.
Once the mixture is finely chopped, cook in a hot, dry pan. This removes the water from the mushrooms and intensifies the flavour.
You can see the water coming out instantly. Such an essential stage, really critical to the success of the Wellington, that you dry those mushrooms out and get rid of all that water. Take the mushrooms up even further, some fresh thyme in there, which will make it really nice and light and fragrant.
When all the water's been fried off, remove from the pan and leave to cool. Then start assembling the Wellington. Stage 1, wrapping the beef fillet.
First of all, these wonderful slices of Parma ham. And look, beautiful. Overlap it and set it there. So the secret of overlapping the Parma ham is to make sure it contains all those juices coming out of the beef.
In the traditional recipe for beef Wellington, a thick chive and spring onion pancake is used instead of ham. But the Parma ham makes the dish much lighter, and its sweet, salty flavour really complements the mushroom and chestnut filling.
A little touch of pepper, no salt because the ham is naturally salty. Just a little twist of pepper. And then from there, your mushrooms. And basically, mushrooms go on. Use the back of the spoon to spread them nice and thinly. Half an inch from the ends. Rumples, no. Hop it. Every time there's meat, out he comes.
And then you start prepping for the foie gras, which is the duck liver, which goes on top of the sirloin. And then the last layer would be the Parma ham. And after that, you put on your pastry, which you cook to a crisp. So you put in the oven for about 200 degrees Celsius, which is about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and you leave it in the oven between 15 to 20 minutes. When it's fully cooked and the pastry looks a little bit golden brown, then that's when it's ready to serve. So a little secret I would like to tell you, my husband actually attempted to make this fine dish, a beef Wellington, and actually turned out pretty good. For mine, we give him a rating of 7 out of 10 if he's not a celebrity chef. He's just an average Joe trying to make a fine dish. So it was pretty delicious and tasty. And you will be able to see how Gordon Ramsay cooked his fine dish as well.
Next, lay the beef on top and very carefully fold that over. Now, we're going to lift that up and wrap the beef nice and carefully. So all that mushroom and Parma ham is encasing the beef all the way over. Push it nice and tight, roll it nice and tight, and go all the way over. Now, the secret from here is to really let the cling film do the work. Just nip it at the ends and squeeze. And what we're doing Just creating this wonderful sort of cylinder shape off, and then just twist it nice and tightly. And the tighter it is, the more perfect the shape.
Then place in the fridge for 15 minutes to firm up. Once it's set, it's ready for the final wrap.
A little bit of cling film, puff pastry, beef. Now, very carefully,
First roll the puff pastry over the beef until the two edges meet. Then trim off any excess pastry and twist the ends together to ensure the beef is completely sealed in its pastry case.
to set that perfectly and get it really nice and firm, to make it really cylinder type, cling film over. And just pull that nice and tight. But the big secret behind this is that it can be done the night before. And the tighter the cling film, the better the shape. The more even the shape, the more even it cooks.
Put it back in the fridge for 5 minutes to firm up again. Then take off the cling film.
Always like the perfect Christmas cracker.
To give the pastry a lovely rich golden brown colour when it bakes, brush it with egg yolk.
And then finally, you don't have to do this, but it's a chefy thing. A little bit of decoration. Back of the knife, down, and then just twist and mark the pastry. When it comes out of the oven, it's got that wow factor.
Add a generous sprinkle of salt to ensure the pastry becomes lovely and crisp. Then bake in an oven at 200 degrees for around 35 minutes, depending on how rare you like your beef. Once out of the oven, it's crucial you let the Wellington rest for at least 10 minutes. This allows the meat to relax and reabsorb its delicious juices, making sure it's tender and succulent.
Nice and gently. Hear that pastry, how crisp that is. This is the bit we've been waiting for. Oh, wow. My God. I'm in heaven. And for me, if you want a really nice change to roast turkey, this has to be the ultimate for the table. It smells Christmassy. The chestnuts, the mushrooms, and that nice crisp pastry on the outside. Look at it. I'm ready to die and go to heaven.
Okay, a lot of people has been debating about the origin of the beef Wellington. Let me tell you what the origin of the beef Wellington is, because it's like a fascinating story everyone wants to know. So the beef Wellington actually came from the Duke of the Wellington. You know the war, the battle at the Waterloo, which happened when the Duke of the Wellington defeated Napoleon during the war. And eventually the Duke of the Wellington became the Prime Minister after the World War II. So this is where the dish comes about. They even named the dish after the Duke. So that's the origin of the beef Wellington. And
Gordon!
Hello! Master Chef Junior is back.
Welcome to the MasterChef Junior Mayhem.
Total mayhem.
Are we gonna have to cook blindfolded?
16 young competitors.
Is it alive?
That's messed up!
A can't-miss showdown.
Sunday!
Come on!
Get a grip.
Start your ovens. MasterChef Junior season premiere Thursday, March 17th on Fox.
so some experts, like American food critic, also claim that the beef Wellington, the name originated from the United States, because New York Times and LA Times did a report on this dish, and they found out that there are very similar ingredients that you can find in a lot of the supermarkets or a lot of the restaurants. You find a lot of similar ingredients in beef Wellington in America as opposed to England. Origin actually started out in Europe, so to speak. That's the origin of the beef Wellington, and that's how it became so popularized in American culture, also in different parts of the world as well. So yeah, and a lot of people have different versions of how to make a beef Wellington, but the best version is the version that Gordon Ramsay makes with Parma ham. Thank you.